How's everybody doing today? So I'm here with Om3gaPro, and we're here to talk about the critically acclaimed Walking Dead video games, because he actually got me into them, and I'm absolutely fucking hooked. They are amazing, enthralling games, and what we're here to talk about specifically is about what we think is going to happen in episode 5, which will be coming out probably sometime in December. We're going to be talking about what we expect, what we hope, and all that stuff. And there will actually be another discussion kind of similar to this on his channel, where we are going to be talking about what we think is going to be coming out in the season 2 that they're kind of announcing and all that shit. So, yeah.
What's up, guys? So, yeah, as TheStormPow just said, the Walking Dead games are fucking amazing. They're phenomenal. And at like a $25 price tag, you cannot go wrong. If you haven't downloaded these games yet, please do so. I can almost guarantee they're going to be better than any game this year. The Walking Dead is better than any game I've played this year, and I honestly can't see it being topped by anything. It's such an experience. I would gladly pay, I've told this to TheStormPow before, but I would gladly pay like $80 for this game if it ever came to that. This game is worth the experience. So, do you want to start this off?
Yeah, sure. So basically, this is going to be very, very spoiler-riddled, in case you haven't already, been able to gather that. So if you are planning on playing through the game, you haven't heard what happens in the first 4 episodes, and you should probably leave right now. But basically, I guess we were going to start out by saying some of the decisions that we had made first, throughout the first 4 episodes, right?
Yeah, yep.
Okay, so, basic stuff, we both let Duck live on Herschel's farm, right?
Yeah, I don't know, it's just because, well, the way I got into The Walking Dead was I watched a playthrough of it, because I had never heard of it. I didn't even know this game was coming out. So I watched a playthrough of it, and I was like, wow, The Walking Dead show is really awesome. They have a game of it. So I started watching a playthrough, so I knew how episode 1 started off and ended and stuff like that. So when I played the game, I knew that I didn't want to fuck Kenny over. So I kind of spoiled myself in playing the game, but still, it's still a great experience. Even though I knew what happened, it's such an experience, and it has all these decisions that even if you know what's gonna happen generally, there's so many different ways to get to that destination. So even if you do know, even if you watch playthroughs, even if you played it before, you're probably going to want to play through it 2 or 3 more times just to experience everything for yourself. But I already knew that if I didn't choose Duck, that would come to bite me in the ass later on. So that's why I chose to save Duck.
Yeah, which I was just kind of like, you know what, this adult hasn't proven too much useful, but this guy as a kid, the softie inside me made me spare Duck. But yeah,
I always thought Duck was annoying as shit, though.
But I can't even imagine how the rest of the game would go without Duck, though. I'm
relatively sure, though. Yeah, I'm relatively sure, though, that even if you did not save Duck, Kenny would come out of nowhere and still save him, just because he's sort of crucial to the story. Because in episode 3, I think it is, when Duck becomes a zombie, you have to put him down and Katya dies. That really fucks with Kenny, and that sets up the story.
True.
And yeah, so I think no matter what happened, Duck was going to live anyway, and that kid was going to die, and you'd have to get off of Herschel's farm. So I think it was all it was like a minuscule decision to show you what the game was going to be like, because in the end, it didn't really matter.
It's kind of like how in the one part where Lily goes ape shit, you said something like she either shoots Carly because I spared Carly back at the drugstore, or you said something like she shoots at Ben and then Doug takes the bullet for him.
Yeah, I think it was, I read this somewhere. I didn't actually see it, so I don't even know if it's entirely true, but I think what happens is if you have Carly instead of Doug, she starts blaming Carly for making the deal with the bandits and shit, and then
yeah, she does. She starts speculating that she was behind it.
And then she shoots Carly, obviously, because Carly's like, listen, you stupid crazy bitch, just shut the fuck up and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But if you chose to save Doug, which if you did, why? But nevertheless, I think it's Lily starts coming down hard on Ben, and then Doug's like, hey, stop it, Ben's a good boy. And then I think she tries to take a shot at Ben or something, and Doug takes it for him. That's what I heard, I don't know. And then there was a bunch of rumors saying that Doug was gay or some shit as a joke, but yeah, there you go. That's just what I heard. But now, another decision that I wanted to talk about was the whole leaving Lily behind thing. You did not leave Lily behind, right?
I did not, and that was where Omega was like, what the fuck? What happens if you, like, don't leave Lily in the woods, you know, or on the road or whatever?
Because each and every playthrough I saw, like, everyone just left Lily. Because, like, why would you just shoot Carly like that? I don't know.
Well,
she was definitely irrational.
Like,
she was... Go ahead.
I was going to say, I was so into Carly. Like, I thought Carly was probably, like, the coolest non-Lee character in the game. I was like, this is so cool. And then she just fucking shoots her, like, you know, irrationally, like you said, and all that stuff. But then, I don't know, it was something like Kenny was like, no, she ain't getting on this RV no more, and, you know, all this stuff. And I just kind of liked pissing Kenny off a little bit. And the whole time that I've been doing the playthrough, I've been trying to spare, like, everyone. That was like, even though I hated Larry, I helped Lily try to give him CPR or whatever in the meat shed, because I wanted everyone alive, even though Larry was a stupid, bigoted prick, you know?
Yeah.
So that was kind of me. I was like, you know what? We'll figure this shit out later. Carly is going to be dead no matter what, no matter if I leave her or not. So I might as well let her in the RV and maybe something good will come out of it, you know? Because, like, I had already told Omega, I was like, some of the decisions were easy to make because I basically figured that none of the decisions are going to just flat out kill you and end the game unless it does it, like, in an instant, you know? So,
yeah.
I spared her.
Yeah, and the crazy thing is that Telltale did this unique thing that always fucks with me and always catches me off guard with any form of media, like with Naruto, for example, right before, and this is getting kind of nerdy for those of you that don't know about anime or whatever, but basically there's this character, his name is Asuma, and before this certain point, he was basically a nobody character. I mean, he was sort of important, but he wasn't really anything. And then right before his death, they built him up to be this great person. And Telltale sort of did that with Carly, because they built her up to be this love interest for you, because, you know, if you play your cards right, you can actually get a kiss from her at the motor inn or whatever. And I was like, oh my god, this can actually be
I thought
an opportunity.
That it was gonna be like
it could,
Mass Effect shit going on, you know?
Yeah, like it could be me, Carly, and Clem just surviving the zombie apocalypse or whatever. And Carly can hold her own. She knows how to handle a gun. She knows how to defend herself. That was fucking extremely cool. That's what you need in a zombie apocalypse woman right there, to defend herself. And she's kind of good looking. Why not? Like, and then Lily just pops her, and then I don't know. If I was in that situation, like the Walking Dead games by Telltale seem to just put you in Lee's shoes, and it's just weird how they masterfully do that. They just put you as if you were Lee. And honestly, if I was Lee at that situation, feeling the way that I had been feeling towards Carly, and then all that stuff going down between us, I don't know if I could let Lily on the van, because she has lost her mind. She's in depression. She doesn't know what she's doing. And I mean, then again, you did tell me one thing when you played through that episode. You did say that you let Lily on the RV for a reason, that she forgave you for being a murderer before all this stuff went down.
Yeah, because when Carly advised me to tell everyone, I told literally everyone. I told Ben, Kenny, Katja, Lily, everyone.
Yeah, and I don't know, man. Like, for me, I don't know if I could leave her behind, because, like, even though she did just kill a person in cold blood without any evidence whatsoever, it's like, it's the zombie apocalypse, you know? Living people only come few and far between, you know? Like, can you really be conscious about leaving somebody out to just die like that? I don't know.
I mean,
it would just mess with my morals.
She just saw her dad get her face smashed in by a salt lick, so I was willing to accept a little bit of craziness, you know?
Yeah, because I mean, that's just to be expected. Like, if that happened,
her dad's blood in her face.
Yeah, like if that happened to my mom, I would probably be going hysterical too, especially since Lily was this power figure, and she was supposed to be in control of everything, and she's just like breaking down. I mean, it's just what happens to people. And
but what I was getting at on that whole thing was like, what happened for me is, and what happens if you spare Lily, basically. That one part where you and Kenny are trying to repair the train and get it going, you need a pencil or whatever to etch in the notepad to get the instructions. You go to the RV to get a pencil because that's where Clem says one is. You go in there, and then Lily has untied herself, and then she's all like, "Ugh, get the hell out of here." She's like, "I'm taking the van," or whatever. And she was like, she offered to let my Lee go with her, and I was like, nah, you know, I'm gonna get you off this shit, bitch. And then she was like, nope, and pushes me out of the RV, and then she runs off. And then Kenny at first was like freaking out, and then he's all like, oh, well, never mind, the radiator's busted. She's only getting 30 miles away. And me and Omega both agreed she's coming back in episode 5.
Yeah, there's no way she's not coming back in episode 5. And now I'm really interested. What if you had said yes? I'm imagining that even if you did say yes, maybe Kenny would come and be like, what the hell's going on here? And then he takes you off of the RV or some shit. Because I like Telltale has given you opportunities to make these decisions, but generally the same sort of thing happens. Like I said earlier in this video, it's just the way you get there is different. I mean, and I don't think it would just be completely different where it's just you and Lily and maybe Clem, but I don't think it would go like that far. So I'm interested to see what would happen. I might actually do that on my own time, but I doubt it would be any different because at that point you haven't met Omid or that other chick, right?
That was before, yeah.
Yeah, and then in episode 4, you're pretty much with Omid and that other chick and Kenny and Ben and Clem for almost the whole entire episode. So I can't really see them straying away that much. But I mean, it's still very intriguing. And now I think we've talked about enough of the things we've done in the other episodes. But what about episode 4? Because episode 4 like is so nuts. I mean, the way episode 3 ends with that dude on the walkie, and then episode 4, you're all paranoid because that dude on the walkie knows where you are. He knows you. He knows Clem. He's been talking to Clem for a while. And it's just like, episode 4 is like the biggest mystery episode in the whole series because you don't know what's going on. You don't know what the hell is happening. And then you meet this chick, Molly, and then there's
Crawford.
Crawford, a secret civilization that only has the elite people. And then, you know, you go to Crawford and the elite people have been taken over and they're zombies now. It's just a bunch of just mind-blowing stuff happening in episode 4.
When you first hear about Crawford, it's from the doctors or whatever, and he was like, are you from Crawford? And I really didn't know if that was a good thing or a bad thing, so you really don't know how to respond. You don't know if it's a good thing to lie or not. So, like, I actually died, like, twice during that one because I responded, you know, wrong and got my face blown off.
Yeah. I think episode 4 was just, I think it was phenomenal. I don't want to say that it's better than episode 3 because in episode 3 a lot of crucial things happened. Lily went crazy, Duck died, Katja died. There was just a lot. Yeah, Kenny started going crazy, sort of like Lily did, and it's just like everything. That's the climax because, you know, episode 3 is right in the middle. That's the climax. That's when everything is going to set the tone for how it's going to end. And then episode 4 is still pretty high up there, but it's going sort of on the decline because you can tell it's going to end soon with it ending with Lee being bit. And what was your reaction to that?
Okay, like I've said to Omega before, though, I knew that either Lee or Clem were going to get bit at one point in the series. But when Lee, like, looks at his arm and sees that bite, I still literally just out loud said, no fucking way. I was like, he just such a simple little altercation with a zombie and he gets a scratch, but yet he's beaten the shit and brutally mauled all these other zombies and gotten in all these other fights. And then just that little scuffle, he gets a bite, but still, what I had done, though, I did hide the bite because, I didn't have good enough relationships with any of the other characters, apparently, and I kind of knew that they weren't going to react very well, so I hid the bite, unlike a lot of people, you know.
I don't know. For me, though, like, I was completely mind-fucked, because I don't know why, but I didn't see the bite coming. I mean, in retrospect, I can look at myself and be like, wow, how did I not see that coming? But at the same time, the way it was set up, how it was just like a trap by the guy that Clem ran off with. It was just like, I wasn't expecting the zombie to be there in the first place, and I wasn't expecting a bite anyway. But when that happened, I was just like, no way. I literally said, no way. It made me exclaim. I was like, this can't be happening. It's Lee. Lee's like my favorite game character of almost ever, because he's just so relatable, and he's such a person as a character, and
Yeah.
that's what I like about him. It's like you're not playing a character, it's like you're playing a person. And I actually felt like I was doomed. Like, oh my god, I just got bit. I didn't say, oh my god, Lee just got bit. I was like, I just got bit. And for me, I don't think hiding it was a good idea. Like, for me, I think you should show them the bite, just because it's that honesty. And in a zombie apocalypse, it's really about who you can trust and all that stuff.
And you really learned that when you had to tell them about you being a murderer and all that.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. I wouldn't be able to hide the bite. Even if this was a real life situation, I would be like, look, I'm bit, and I know you guys know what's about to happen to me, but listen, man, we've got to get Clementine. And that's exactly what happened. And for me, people banded together. Like, you got Kenny that came with you, obviously. Oh wait, we forgot to talk about whether you should keep Ben alive or not.
Yeah, we both spared him, right?
Yeah, yep.
Well, I was gonna bring up that I had read somewhere that the writer for the guy who, or at least one of the writers who did some of the game and all this stuff, he's known for character twists, apparently, and I thought that was really interesting, and everyone was saying after that, they were like, yeah, Ben is going to be really crucial to Episode 5, so if you killed him, then you're going to be fucked. He's going to be, like, a really big help. That he's known for building characters up, kind of like the opposite way that you were talking about Osimo, whatever, earlier. I just called him and Osmo 4000, but whatever. He was kind of doing it the opposite way. Like, he builds them up as these shitty, useless guys. Then he gives you the opportunity to kill them, and most people jump on that. But then if you spare them, you're rewarded. And I kind of think that's going to play into it. And like I said, I didn't have strong enough relationships at the end of Episode 4. So it'll just be me and Ben on it.
Yeah, that's how I thought about Lily, too. Like, if you just let Lily die, then... Or not let Lily die, because if you do... leave Lily, it doesn't show her actually dead. And in any movie, game, whatever, if it doesn't actually show the person dead, in any great movie anyway, if it doesn't actually show the person dead, then you can almost bet that they're gonna be alive and they're gonna make a return. So if you spare Lily and Ben, I think that Lily's definitely coming back. There's no doubt in my mind. But they do build Ben up to be this coward, to be this useless piece of crap. And I think he's going to have his shot at redemption, whether it be saving Clem from something or finding Clem. And because one thing that really just made me hate Ben so much was in the beginning of Episode 4, zombies start surrounding Clem and Ben is with her. And you as Lee, you're like, Ben, protect her or whatever. And then Ben just runs away like a bitch. And I was like, dude, okay, I can understand you're a bitch. I mean, if this was a zombie apocalypse, I would have probably killed myself by now. But still, like, dude, she's a little girl. How are you gonna leave her by herself?
Like, even if you're not gonna kill the zombies, then at least pick her up and run. It would take like an extra second,
Yeah, dude, like, I don't know. That just really made me hate Ben. And I think that's what every great storyteller does. They give a certain person qualities to make you feel a certain way towards a person and then flip it. Like you said, the writer was known for character flops or whatever, and I think that that's probably gonna happen with Ben. He might step up, especially if you saved him. If you saw the scene where you saved him, then it was very, very emotional. If you let him drop, dude, I saw a playthrough where the person let him drop, and dude, even though I generally felt like dislike towards Ben, I was like, oh my god, I can't believe that just happened. I was literally saddened, and I was like, dude, that's fucking rough. Because
I watched Dan's news playthrough. Like, ironically, that was about the only episode of a Walking Dead playthrough that I've ever watched. I just randomly clicked on it in my sub box because by then I played all 4 episodes and I was caught up, and I was like, okay, I really got nothing to lose here, so I clicked on it, and that was like at the very beginning of the episode. It's him leaving Ben, and I was like, I had never seen that version of it, and I was like, shit. Like, he just hits the ground, and then the zombies start eating him, and I was like, damn. Like,
dude, I don't know, man. Like, it just puts you into a position where you just feel saddened. Okay, so we talked enough about Episode 4 and below. Now let's talk about what we think is going to happen in Episode 5. We sort of dabbled into it with, Lily making a return and maybe Ben stepping up and not being a bitch. But what else do you think is going to eventually happen? do you think we're gonna find out? Well, we're obviously gonna find out who the radio guy is, but like,
Yeah.
how do you think things are going to go down?
Well, you said yourself that you think the radio guy is Glenn, correct?
Yeah, I mean, because here's my thoughts behind this. If you guys remember, at the end of episode 1 or 2, I think it was 1, but Clem was upset because she lost her radio, and Glenn had the other radio, and I picked up on that. And I mean, Clem has been talking to this person on the radio for a while, and obviously, if a random dude starts talking on the radio, if you're Clem, you're gonna be like, "Oh my god," because Clem and Lee have this connection. You're gonna be like, "Lee, somebody's talking to me," but not if she knew this person. So what I'm thinking is maybe it's Glenn, or maybe it's her father or something like that. And then maybe that's why she was so inclined to walk away from Lee, because her and Lee, like I said, have a very, very strong connection. And I cannot imagine her leaving Lee's side for anyone but her father. But then again, at the end of episode 4, she's
like all emo.
Yeah, she was depressed, dude. Like, maybe Glenn could have taken advantage of, like, oh hey, I know where your father is, or I know where your parents are. And as a girl who's lost all hope, I mean, and she probably feels at this point that there's no hope left. There's no coming back from this. There's no boats. There's nothing. There's just no light at the end of the tunnel anymore. So maybe she just like gave up and was like, what's the worst that can happen, essentially. But
I'm really leaning more towards it being Glenn and him being like, yeah, I know where your father is, and lying and all that stuff. Because I think if it was actually her father, he probably wouldn't be all threatening and evil to Lee. He would probably be like, yeah, dude, thank you so much for taking care of my daughter and all this stuff, and, you know, not making her die, you know.
Oh, yeah, maybe.
Which, I don't know, crazy shit happens in the apocalypse. He could have gone absolutely postal, you know.
Yeah. And another crazy thing is that I can already see it throughout the entire episode 5. Lee is gonna be struggling with infection. He's gonna be struggling because he's sick. He's gonna need help somewhere, and he's just, especially if you ended up what you ended up with, being alone because you have nobody. Or did you?
I'm actually gonna rewind, because what happened? Yeah. Like I said, I don't think Kenny or Omid or any of them would go with me, but Ben was like the last one, and Lee was like, oh, do you want to go with me, Ben, or whatever? And he was like, well, I don't know. And then Lee's like, well, I made my Lee because I wanted to be a nice guy. I was like, well, I can't make that decision for you, boy. And then Ben was like, well, I guess I'll just stay here and be a useless fuck. So then I was all alone, but I'm going to rewind so I at least have Ben, you know.
Yeah, because
I didn't save his ass for nothing.
Yeah, because if you're going to be fighting that sickness, dude, there's no way you're going to do it by yourself. So having some support there, I think, is going to be really, really important. And throughout the entire episode, I know Lee's going to be fatigued. He's going to be getting sick. He's going to be coughing up blood. He's just going to be going through so much shit. And how I think it's ultimately going to end is that something's going to happen. There's going to be a big ending climax. Maybe the dude on the radio, and maybe it's like Glenn, and Glenn's gone psycho or whatever, and you gotta save Clem or some shit. And then, like, as you save Clem, and it looks like there's gonna be a happy ending, like Lee just turned into a zombie, and then somebody's gotta kill him.
Clem has to shoot
her.
Like
Clem has to, like, just put him out. And then
I strongly believe that Clem is going to be the one that has to shoot Lee.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, because it'd be like Clem is like the only kid in anything I've ever liked. Like, I feel like I want to protect Clem. No matter what happens, Clem is not dying on my watch.
She's just a very likable character.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah. And, like, I would feel like if it were to be anybody to shoot Lee, it'd have to be Clem. And, yeah, that's just, it's going to be very, very emotional and crazy, and I can't not wait for episode 5.
I think it was because the main reason why I believe it is kind of because not only, you know, Lee had to teach her how to shoot, and really that hasn't led up to a whole lot other than that, like, one zombie she shot in the school, you know. And there was another thing where he just kept having to tell her a couple of things about, like, her biggest thing was that she couldn't bring herself to pull the trigger, and of all situations, having to kill Lee, you know, that would be a hard decision. He was just saying, I think he told her one time, make sure you mean it, you know, when you're shooting or whatever, and he's all, you know, telling her he has to be able to she has to be able to shoot or whatever, and I strongly believe she's gonna be the one to kill him.
I
don't know.
I wanna try to piece together what's gonna happen, because all we know right now is that Lily's most likely coming back. Ben somehow in some way is gonna make his way into it if you let him live, of course. And we're obviously gonna find Clem. We're obviously gonna find who the radio guy is, and I think Molly is going to come and save Lee's ass, like at some point during that, because Molly was such a cool character, was such a badass character. For her to be in only one episode, I don't think that's gonna happen.
No way that she's gone.
Yeah, she's gonna be coming back, and especially if you're alone, she's definitely gonna come back. She's gonna save your ass. She's gonna help you out. But Molly we didn't even talk about Molly that much, but Molly is a badass. She's basically like Carly, except like 10 times the badass. And yeah, so I think Molly is definitely going to play a part in this. I think Molly's going to die off saving you or some shit. I don't know. But that's just sort of what I think is going to happen, because, you know, I think it's sort of like a connection. And, you know, she's like basically thinking, you know, I couldn't save my sister or whatever, but, you know, you got to save your little girl. And then he just takes a horde of zombies on and gives Lee time to progress.
She's
forward.
kind of the new Carly.
Yeah, essentially that's what she is. Except I don't know, is there gonna be a love interest with half zombie Lee? Who knows?
I doubt. But if we were to get like super detailed, I think it might go down. If you save Ben, I think basically going to be some awesome ass climax. Maybe you kill the radio guy and then you're turning into a zombie about to kill Clem. Clem shoots you, and maybe there's even more zombies behind you. I think maybe Ben would end up actually saving her. And maybe Kenny and the others, which I doubt like Krista and Omid, but you know, maybe Kenny, he would be more caught up and we got to get out of here and get on the boat. But Ben would maybe go badass mode and be like, no, we got to save Clem this time.
I don't know. I can't see Ben doing that. I understand there's character twists and all that, but that's just way out of his character. I don't know,
but it would be so awesome though if Ben ended up saving Clem, I think.
I don't think so. I would not want to be hating Ben this entire time and then have him be the one to save Clem.
Well, that would be kind of the thing, because could you imagine all the people that are like, yeah, fuck Ben, and they drop him, and then at the end, Clem shoots Lee, and then, like, I don't know, some horde of zombies or whatever, and Kenny and all the others are like, I should get to the boat, you know?
And then leave Clem behind?
Yeah, which, I don't know, I don't think that they would do that, because for one, you know, Lee has seen kids die, he's probably not going to do that unless he absolutely has to.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, at the very least, Krista or Omid would definitely save them.
Yeah, there's some...
Or Molly.
What?
Or Molly, I said, because, you know, Molly, she seemed to have a really big soft spot for Clem.
Yeah, true. And there's something else in the back of my mind that I know is not going to happen, because this game series is one of an epic series, and literature what an epic series is that the hero rises up and then eventually dies, i.e. Mass Effect. I think this is going to be sort of the same thing, in that Lee almost has to die for it to be a good story. But I think that somewhere in a world that is perfect, Lee saves Clem, and then there's a cure for the zombie shit, and then oh yeah, happy days.
No, well then why would there be a season 2?
Yeah.
Genius?
Okay, shut the dump up. Okay, so
God damn it.
I don't know though, like. It's going to be sad to see Lee go, but that's definitely the way it's going to have to go. Do you have any last words you want to say?
That's how it goes in epics, like you said.
Yeah. Do you have anything else?
Really, there's not a whole lot else that I can think of other than, like I said, I strongly believe Lily's coming back, especially if you spared her or didn't ditch her. Even though she really didn't, like, clearly die if you ditch her, you know. But, I don't know, maybe there are 2 different ways she can come back, whatever. I don't know, and I think, like I said, Ben's coming back. I think he's going to do something important. Whether it's as important as saving Clem's life, that's still up in the air, you know. I don't know, and I think, overall, I think everyone's going to get off of the island or whatever. I think, I have a good feeling that at the very end, like Kenny, Krista, Omid, whoever, they're going to be on a boat and leaving.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Well, we'll see what happens, but that is it for this little discussion. Again, there's going to be a video on my channel pretty soon, and we're going to be discussing our thoughts on what's going to happen in the 2nd season of the game series, because Telltale has sort of announced that there's going to be another Walking Dead game coming out. That's going to be, like, I guess a continuation of the Walking Dead game we've been playing now, and that video will be going up on my channel as well. So thank you guys for watching, and have a great day.
Where the hell are they?
Looks like they got out of here in a hurry.
Vernon, get out here! There doesn't have to be any trouble here. All I want is the girl. Give her back and nobody needs to get hurt. Are you all right? Where are you? Vernon, you son of a bitch!
Hello, Lee.
Where have you taken her?
This isn't Vernon, and you should really watch your tone. Clementine's fine, but if I were you, I'd choose my next words very carefully.